YouTube. Welcome back to Babylon 5 for the first time. Jeff.
I'm really excited to be here on YouTube, and that's like kind of where my excitement ends on this one.
I was going to say, boy, oh boy, do we got an episode today.
Yeah. That's a quick preamble. You all are great. I respect you, and I really value your opinions. I'm probably going to upset some of you through this one, and that's cool. I'm just fire away. Let's hear it. I'm
going to say this right now because I don't know if it's going to come up through the course of the conversation today. Last week we had the conversation about which episode we should do today. Should we do this one or should we do the next one, which on HBO Max is first? And I got to the end of this one and I sat back and I went, I'm going to be kind of mad that we even had to have that conversation if this episode doesn't impact the next week somehow. And I don't think it will. I really I think we're going to get to the end of next week's episode and we're going to be like, it really didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
It just did not matter at all. Why is it even a thing? I'm sure somewhere along the line they do matter, but anyway, folks, what you guys are about to see, this is our behind the scenes recording of how we make the podcast. We're covering the show by any means necessary. Episode 12. Is it
12?
I forget what the numbering is here of the first season of Babylon 5. Jeff and I both just watched it for the very first time. We've taken some notes. We have some thoughts. We are about to share those thoughts. Jeff, whenever you're ready, my friend.
Let's do it. Well, first, also, thank you, YouTube, for being cool with our technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck happened.
I don't know. It was all Jeff's fault, whatever it was, though. My video froze, but it was still Jeff's fault.
Weird how that happens, right? Honestly, and then we've had a couple other weeks, too, where, like, I cut out of nowhere and stuff. So, you know, the tool we're using, it's pretty great. Sounds good. Looks good. Also, we're maybe figuring it out, but thank you for being awesome.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Technology's awesome, but only when it works.
Yeah.
This is my first time.
First time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and Brent, we're watching Babylon 5 for the first time. Let's just get to this one. Introduce yourself. I want to get to the meat on this one as soon as we can.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Babylon 5 for the first time. Though, honestly, Jeff, as two veteran Star Trek podcasters coming to the show for the very first time, today, I would have just rather watched Star Trek.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And we're going to make references about Star Trek, right? We have our game, our rule of three. And when we do make a Star Trek reference, we get buzzed. We get 3 apiece of those that we get to pull in.
And yeah, there's a lot to be said for this. Although I think I'm going to come down to the end. I might surprise you a little bit, Jeff, and maybe some people out there. But we got to get there first. Jeff, this is the part where we like to read some reviews, emails, and comments. You're the one with access to all of that. I just sort of see it on the backside. So we got anybody? Any good people out there? I imagine we do, because people out there are awesome.
People are incredible. We got quite a few. I'm going to share three this week. And the first one is from our webpage. We've got a website, babylon5first.com. It's the number 5 and the word first.com. And from the webpage, there's a little button you can click. Sends an email. And John sends an email. He says, "Hi, Jeff and Brent."
Hi, John.
Hi. I don't think I heard it in the Parliament of Dreams podcast episode. During the Minbari ceremony scene, behind Delen's stair, a nervous hand of G'Kar switches his little red fruit with the person sitting next to him. Just a little detail I thought was hilarious. Looking forward to the next episode. Yeah.
I saw that. I noticed that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. G'Kar, right? Like we love G'Kar.
Right.
But thank you, John. It was a great little tidbit. I don't think we brought it up when we watched Parliament of Dreams. It's been a while. But Yeah, awesome little detail.
I usually have about a half dozen notes that I never say on the show. Like it just doesn't work into the course of our conversation. And I think that was one of my notes. Like, I saw it and it cracked me up when I saw him do that.
On Twitter at Babylon First, that's where you can get us on Twitter. But the Yum Yum podcast says, well, actually, I didn't say anything. They just sent a really awesome GIF of a Babylon 5 dude that we don't know yet, giving us a thumbs up. And honestly, I don't even know for sure it's a Babylon 5 guy, but they were like familiar looking aliens in the background, so I'm assuming. But Ryan and Rachel at the Yum Yum podcast are awesome. They're super cool. I recommend that you go check it out, unless you're also watching Babylon 5 for the first time with us.
Yeah, and Ryan and Rachel, just in case you guys are listening and you go look and you find out I'm not following you, it's because I did for like 5 minutes, and then I realized that to protect the integrity of the show, I couldn't follow you. So I can't wait when we're done with the production of this show to be able to come and catch up with you guys, because you sound like really cool people, and we really appreciate the love you've given us. I just needed to not know what happens, and you guys are on the other side of this journey. So
they've got some cool episodes on Star Trek. So if you want to go give them a listen, those are safe. Those are safe for us. I've listened to a couple of those. Those are
they
good.
okay?
So, yeah,
that's good. I have to go check that out.
At least so far they have been. It's tough because there's such a great community around Babylon 5 that we're discovering, and I feel like we can't really dive all the way into it just because we can't know. And it makes
what though? No, but you know what? And I mean, I know we say this, we just heap all the praise on everybody out there, and it's deserved. They're coming around us.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which is really cool. You know what I mean? Like that with the way they're interacting with us, with the way they're commenting on things. You guys out there are coming around Jeff and I, although we can't reciprocate in so many ways. We'll do it as best we can, given again the parameters and integrity of the show. But they're awesome, and I can't wait to be a fully fledged, indoctrinated member of this Babylon 5 community and expand my sci-fi nerddom.
I'd be happy to be a card-carrying member as long as that card isn't slapped onto the back of my hand and I have to hold it up awkwardly to talk to other members of the community.
I believe I said that in week 1.
Yep. Well, we have a super timely episode from Dr. Algernon Benway on YouTube. He drops a little hint, but I think it's appropriate for us on here. He says, with respect, I think it's clear that you folks need to adjust your perspective a bit. Babylon 5 was the first and only truly serialized sci-fi show on U.S. television, period. You guys are used to the magic reset button from Star Trek shows. Example, here's where it gets appropriate for us. Alcoholism experienced, explored, and overcome in a single episode, never to be referenced again. Babylon 5 says Babylon 5 never does that.
Okay.
Yeah. Each episode is roughly a week or so in Babylon 5 time. Storylines are never dropped. So if it looks like they didn't explore something by the end of the episode that they should have, don't worry. They will. There are seeds planted in every episode.
Here's the thing. I'm going to start holding y'all to this, because you're not the first person who I've heard say this. I've heard lots of people continue to say this. We are 11 episodes, 12 episodes into this journey right now. So I understand there's a lot more to come. I'm keeping an open mind. Still, Jeff and I have to comment based on the information and the knowledge of where we are in the journey right now. But I'm going to hold you all to that, because if they don't come back and circle back to some of these threads that we're picking up as first-time viewers, well, I'm not going to be mad at y'all, but I'm going to shake my fist, speak sternly into a microphone. Yeah, I probably won't even do that.
Podcaster yells at sky. Right? Well, in today's episode, Brent, we're talking about episode 12, By Any Means Necessary. But last week, this is fun. We have so many games we like to play on here, and we like to guess what the next episode is going to be about based just on the title, because we don't look at anything about it. So last week, Brent, do you remember? I remember what you guessed. Do you remember your slight cop out of a guess last week?
I remember exactly what I guessed, because I didn't guess. A slight cop out, Jeff. I completely copped out on this thing. I said it could be anything. I couldn't even begin to tell you what it was, and it's because I knew it could be something like what it was we got today, which was cool. I was great with how that whole piece ended. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but like there was no way to narrow it down just based off the title alone. Like to even come up with a BS storyline just for the sake of answering it, like. It wasn't going to happen. So, yeah.
I think it's so hard because they're introducing so many threads at this point. Like every episode's like, hey, here's a new idea. Here's another new idea. Oh, now we're going to explore this idea a little bit from before. Oh, here's 6 more new ideas. And yeah, it's hard to keep track of everything at this point. Well, I went ahead and tried to make up storyline for this one. And I thought that it was going to be a continuation of the Home Guard kind of storyline, and that the aliens were going to band together and they were going to fight back by any means necessary. And Brent, I could not have been more wrong.
No, Jeff, I would push back on that. I'd say you got about a third of that right.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because they banded together and they fought back. It just wasn't aliens. It was humans for the most part. There might have been an alien or two somewhere in the midst of all that, but I don't think there was. And it's possible that there's a Home Guard connection in the middle of this one.
Maybe.
Possible.
Buried.
And maybe, possibly. So I'll give you a third credit.
Wow, look at that.
For it.
I'm racking these up. Pretty soon I might have 5 credits.
Right. By the end of season 1.
Exactly. But the cool thing is I know Garibaldi will defend to the death my credits, because that's what we learned last week. He does with criminals. Well, for those
seeps into their brain.
Well, for those of you that it might have been a while since you've seen this episode, like, I don't know, 30 years or so, or you haven't watched in a while, or you've joined along in our journey watching Babylon 5 for the first time, let's remind you what this episode was about. Brent, you've got the recap this week.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. It's a busy day at the docking bays of Babylon 5, but hey, it's just another day, because this is how it's been for a really long time around the station. Kind of like we saw back in episode. Okay, yeah, we haven't really seen it before, but they tell us that this has been going on for a really long time. Bottom line, those dock workers are overworked, short-staffed, and they're using substandard, non-safe equipment. But hey, at least pay rate isn't an issue. Of course, as it inevitably does, major accidents happen, destroying a Narn ship and an entire docking bay, injuring several and killing one, who also just happens to be the foreman's brother. Well, that's enough to make the dock workers go on strike or catch a case of the blue flu. I mean, seriously. Who can work in these conditions? Sinclair gets it. He tells their union rep that he's trying to get them what they need, but the money just isn't there. The Earth Central Senate doesn't really care, because they have all these experts, and the experts say that they have all they need. And since the dock workers have a contract, they can't even go on strike. So tell them all to get back to work. Tensions continue to rise as the Senate won't budge on improving working conditions, and the workers won't budge to go to work. And oh yeah, now they want better pay, because, hey, while you're at it, might as well. This causes the Senate to send in Oren Zento, a strike buster. He's actually kind of bad at his job, because he not only doesn't help, but he exacerbates the whole situation by invoking the Rush Act, which we never really find out what all that is, but apparently it's really bad. But Sinclair, being smarter than the average bear, does the unthinkable. He actually reads the text of the Rush Act order, and he notes one little line saying that he's authorized to end this thing by any means necessary. Zento agrees. Any means necessary. Now go bust some heads, but not so fast, Sinclair says, because the means he's going to choose to use is to reallocate funds from the military to give the dock workers exactly what they want. Safer working conditions, more people on the job, probably some better pay. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. He'll give them whatever they need to get them back to work. And better tools. He's also going to forgive any little transgressions, and everybody just sort of hugs it out. Well, except for Zento, who leaves shaking his fist, saying, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too." Meanwhile, while that's happening, G'Kar has a big religious ceremony coming up, and that Narn ship that started all of this way back at the beginning, yeah, that was carrying a pretty rare flower that is required for the ceremony, and now the only person on the entire station who happens to have one of those is Londo. And so Londo spends the entire episode just screwing with G'Kar, which is awesome to watch, by the way. He's just stringing along, watching him squirm. "Yeah, I'll give you this for $50 million. $50 million, that's outrageous." Of course it's outrageous, Londo says. And then when he comes up with the money, he's like, "Never mind, I'm not going to sell it to you anyway." Ultimately, G'Kar gets Natat to steal some precious idol thing to Londo's people. And guess what? Sinclair gets involved in this too, because he doesn't have enough going on. And he negotiates with the two ambassadors, and everybody eventually gets back what they need. And woo, an exhausted, scruffy-looking Sinclair ends his day with a call from his favorite senator saying, "Hey, you better watch your back because you really pissed off Zento, and he has friends in low places." Jeff, I'm going to throw it to you first because I know you're itching to talk about this episode. What did you think? What are your overall opening thoughts on By Any Means Necessary?
First off, good. So I feel like the Jaquan, let's talk about G'Kar and Londo first, because that's that's a nice thing. The Jaquan faith thing for G'Kar, where'd that come from? Right? Like, what is that?
I'm saying that for so much out of this episode.
You said it. We said it. You specifically for the last one, and now this one, it's like, okay, I guess this is a thing. If it sticks, right? If it sticks, this whole religious G'Kar thing sticks, I'm all for it. But I don't want to be like, oh, this is politician G'Kar for this episode, and over here now we have religious G'Kar, because there's a model on how to do this. It's been done really well with Kira Nerys in Deep Space Nine, right? She was always devout. Her faith guided her actions. It made sense all the time. Granted, we're 12 episodes in, so maybe it hasn't really come up yet, but it'd be cool. I think this is a really cool added dimension to G'Kar. I liked everything about that storyline.
I can't say that I liked everything about that storyline because specifically I didn't like G'Kar.
Really?
Now, I'm not saying that I didn't like the actor or how he portrayed G'Kar. I didn't like G'Kar. G'Kar's busting in. Dude, your ship just blew up our docking bay because your dude freaked out. That's his fault. Don't make us the victims. Yes. Or don't make us the people at fault. Yes, it is you. That was you because you're worried about your flower for your religious ceremony. I have all the respect in the world for people who have religions, who adhere to their religion, whatever that is. I have my own. But that does not give you the right to ignore people who have died so you can carry out your ceremony.
But really, take the religion out of that, make it anything else, and that's G'Kar. G'Kar doesn't care that some dock worker died, right? I mean, that's
right.
That's him. Now, do I like that? No, but is that in line with his character? Absolutely, I think so. It was just weird because he had this weird like false humility of a religious. First he's like, right. Don't make us that. But also, we need this very precious thing, and yeah, I just hope that this is an added dimension and not just like,
listen, if they establish it, I need them to carry it through.
Yeah.
And not just forget about it, as I think they might have with another character, which we'll talk about later. But in talking about this, Londo catches wind of the whole thing. Londo has been preparing for this moment for a very long time. And he finally gets to jump into action. And when he comes to G'Kar, he is all smiles. And it's something is off. And the moment it was all about to go down for the whole episode is when Londo gets on that elevator and he's waving with both hands. That might have been the way to get past the TV censors with instead of him just flipping him off with both fingers. You know what I mean?
That's so good.
But this whole storyline, was the bright spot in a very, very dark tunnel of 45 minutes.
Yeah, because here's the other thing. So I have to own that literally the Friday before Brent and I recorded this episode, I was at work preparing for negotiations with our labor union. This is a world that I live in, have lived in for a very long time, and this episode sucked. It did.
And just to clarify, you're on the management side
Oh yeah,
of this
there's that
equation.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the bad guy here. Okay.
It's a very, very important clarification. But when we talk about it some more, I'm going to show you why Sinclair is the example of how to be on the management side of the table. I mean, another shining light for Sinclair in a lot of ways. There's some stuff that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I mean, this was literally like late 80s, early 90s, late night drama. We're going to do a worker dispute thing. What was the foreman's name? Del Vientos was just a stereotype in every single way. And was wildly the minute this episode fell apart for me, well, the minute I knew this episode was never going to be fully like come back for me was at the end, when this whole time Del Vientos has been like, "No, this is not time for talk. We've heard you talk. You're horrible, and we're gonna do awful things and whatever it takes." And then Sinclair walks through and he's like, "Oh, we got to hear what this guy has to say." Dude, you saying you don't want to hear what he has to say is what started all of this, and now all of a sudden, it was inconsistent. It leaned on stereotypes of like what a labor dispute looks like. I don't know. I just thought it was really, it was awful. It was really bad. And what was his name? Zento or Zentos or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my. Hey, let me find Disney villain part, type 3.
Let's find the slickest, smoothest, snottiest dude. Find the guy with the most punchable face out there.
Yeah.
Get him in the show. Yeah.
It was almost like what's Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter, right? It's like, hey, let's take her and take every bit of charm away from her and then make her a strike buster.
Jeff, buddy.
I just touched a nerve. I know.
Dolores Umbridge didn't have any charm.
I think she did, though.
No, you're wrong.
I think she had.
I'm throwing an arrow at you. You're wrong. I got my kid's Nerf dart arrow. You're wrong. Do you know my completely side topic? You know my favorite nickname for Dolores Umbridge? Well, her initial is D and then Umbridge. She's Dumbridge.
There you go.
That's my thing for her. She's Dumbridge.
I don't know. I just think, so imagine a worse, less, maybe charm's not the right word, less interesting. How's that? Less interesting version of Dumbridge. And then you get Zento. Like, oh my God. So bad. I mean, so bad. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, good job sidestepping mentioning Kai Wynn there.
There's charm there.
Oh, there's definitely charm there for her.
So much. Yeah.
There's definitely charm that I could, on my other podcast, it'd be Matt, my co-host there. He actually used to run a Harry Potter podcast. So in that show, there's a lot of references. It's actually the drinking game for the show. Oh. Anytime somebody mentions Harry Potter, you got to take a drink. And in that show, and we talked about a lot how Kai Wynn is Dolores Umbridge. Like, they're two peas in a pod. I'm gonna throw Zentos in there as their their weird nephew.
That they don't even want to hang out with. Like,
exactly.
Nothing redeeming about this.
Exactly. Yeah, Jeff, they're really. I mean, I'm picking up everything you're laying down about this episode. There's not really much to like about this episode, except for Londo versus G'Kar. And this isn't even Londo and G'Kar. This is Londo versus G'Kar, and I'm so glad that they're keeping this rivalry going, that they're not just being buddy or being respectful towards each other. Because when Londo first came up to G'Kar, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. He's going to be a friend. And, they're going to pretend like they didn't really just about kill each other a handful of episodes ago, and oh, no, they didn't. They did everything I needed them to do. G'Kar breaks into Londo's apartment or quarters or whatever and leaves the door open and he's sitting there at his table. Like, oh my
I decided
gosh.
to, your door was unlocked, and so I'm
Yeah.
guarding it for you. I'm
Right.
so kind.
Right. Londo's like, I've got the flower, but it's in a safe spot, so you're never gonna get it. And you know, I love it's 50,000 Centauri credits. 50,000, that's highway robbery. Yeah, of course that is. That's the point.
He just owned it. He's like, yeah,
And
totally.
then when he comes up with the money, he's like, yeah, I'm not giving it to you anymore. You know, and all the way to the end when Sinclair fixes it, and G'Kar, it doesn't take much to push sorry, not G'Kar, Londo, to push Londo to giving it up. And his little line of like, I've gotten all the happiness out of it that I needed anyway. I'm good. I'm not getting in the middle. He knew when to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I respected Londo for that in that moment more than anything else, you know, and
he won. Like for all he knew,
did.
He's like, you didn't get to do your thing. I messed with your whole religious ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Well, even that he did get to do his religious ceremony with this weird, that sunlight that hit the mountain's going to be here in about 12 hours, 10 years later, because of traveling through space and science and physics and stuff. Londo doesn't care. I still say Londo won.
Yeah.
Londo won the day on this one. Absolutely. There was that. I loved how Sinclair chose to solve the problem at the end. Everything else about this episode, though.
Yeah. Well, so I want to talk a little more about the Londo G'Kar thing, because I think there's a deeper thing here.
Okay.
But here, let's take the fun thing and make it serious. But the story that I understand between Centauri and Narn is that the Centauri basically almost wiped out the Narn and enslaved them and colonized their worlds, and that's where the whole Ragash 3, this is ours and it was theirs and it was theirs and all that. To me, this screamed of, so to the Narn, this Jaquan Eth is sacred, and they,
to some of the
to
Narn.
some, yes, yeah, because Natoth doesn't practice. What was the other?
It was Jaquan something or other. Like it was the same, like similar name, but then it was like a different branch or something. I'm not sure what, but like her family does that, and she doesn't even practice anything at all. So this is only a handful of Narn. It's not even which I really enjoy, because one of the criticisms that I have of other sci-fi shows is when you meet one or two representatives and then all of a sudden their whole world becomes a monoculture based on that one or two people. And so I'm glad to know that this is a thing that's a part of Narn society, not the entirety of Narn society.
But Londo says something about you take the seeds and you put them into some hot water and oof, take you to another universe. And so in our world today, like as we're recording this is a big issue across our country. And where I live up in Oregon, we have recently legalized psilocybin or mushrooms. And I'm actually a consultant on the board for how our state is choosing to legalize the practice, the medicinal practice of psilocybin and mushrooms in our state. Our guiding principles for this are that before we came to the United States and indigenous people and Native Americans just lived here and did their thing, psilocybin, the mushrooms, were sacred to them. It was how they maintained their mental health. It was how they connected as a community. Like this was a big part of what and who they were and what their culture was. We came in and said, nope, this is a type 1 narcotic and we're going to throw you in prison forever for this sacred thing that you've used forever. And so one of our guiding principles is that acknowledging that for tens of thousands of years, this was a very sacred and special thing. This was what that reeked of. Centauri came and colonized, took over a lot of the Narn stuff. They grabbed this sacred flower and they're like, dude, these drugs are sweet, man. This is good. But to G'Kar and the followers of Jaquan, what a slap in the face. And that's what we have done in the United States with mushrooms and other natural, drugs out there that we've criminalized that used to be sacred to people here. Still are sacred to people here, but they have to risk incarceration to practice their religion. So how's that for a turn?
I personally have zero experience with any of that. I understand a lot of people do, and I love that that is your guiding principle of this. This is a this is a thing historically of the people who were of this land before any of us got here. I don't mean to speak for everybody out there. This is not my idea. It's an interesting take you put on that though, Jeff. I'm sorry, like I didn't think about that at all, so I'm kind of processing that, like, because what he said was, Londo said, it's a shame you guys burn it for incense.
Yeah,
because of what this does. And I was like, I also imagine, my thought was, I imagine there's some monetary value to that then too. Like if you could do that. And also, does this mean that Londo's like all into drugs and stuff?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Space drugs. Like,
remember his password? Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Like, but is this going to be like an acceptable thing in the Babylon 5 world that like people just get high? Like, and it's,
I don't know, because they've got, what is it, dust or whatever that they mentioned. I think that was that in The Gathering or one of the first two.
That was the very first one. Yeah, that was the first scene we ever saw Sinclair. He's busting that dude trying to smuggle it in.
Yeah. So like there's, but maybe it's more similar to what some states in the United States are becoming, where it's like, okay, so we're acknowledging that we're going to regulate these things over here. We're still going to criminalize these things over here. Maybe it's something like that. But also maybe Londo's like, I'm an ambassador, dude. I'm going to do, and I'm a Centauri ambassador at that. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right. Right.
On the trope train, as there were, my favorite trope came back. My favorite one, a reporter lady.
Yeah.
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 I didn't realize that was her at first.
Really? Oh.
Well, I mean, it took me a little bit, and I was like, oh, it's that same lady. It's that reporter lady.
Yeah, she's embedded, apparently.
Yeah, I got some news for you though, Jeff. Can I give you a little spoilery news?
Uh-oh.
A little. It's not that big. A little spoiler news,
okay,
because I was trying to look her up and see who she was, because I was trying to see if it was the same girl, and I happened to note that she only has 2 episodes to her credits in Babylon 5.
Thank God.
So, yeah,
I hope she got fired. Not the actor, but the reporter.
Yeah.
Like in my head, because I mean, she's doing what she should do, right? And there's stuff going on with the workers. I think the questions she was asking were legit, and I think her coming into CNC again was Ivanova had taken care of that before. She should know better, but still, it was fine. But Ivanova escorts him out, which is awesome. Again, it's Ivanova, but
she escorts them out while counting down from 10. She didn't get to 1. She got to 3, and they were out. Like, she put Londo in his place. She put G'Kar in his place, and his lady went too. And she's like, she's like got her hands around the door with her head poking in. The people have a right to know, Commander.
Exactly. It's like, I have to get my thing in. This is my thing. I got to say it.
I got to tell you though, Jeff, you're going to hate me for saying this. I kind of wish that she would have become like a recurring joke at that point, like a recurring nuisance around the station. Like, I don't, the amount she was in this particular episode to me was perfect. And I don't need it in every episode, but every 3 or 4 episodes, like, bring her in as somebody who's trying to get the scoop. And, like, how did she just walk into CNC?
Yeah. Right.
Like, I've had press credentials in my life. It does not grant me access to the innermost sanctum of the working operations of whatever business I'm covering.
A military operation specifically. Right. Like, yeah.
Right.
And honestly, I would have been fine with her if she hadn't grabbed the door and stuck her head in. Like, to me, it's like, really? Like,
it was my favorite part.
But Ivanova, like, I would hate to be one of her children. Because you know how everybody's like, stop at 1, 2, 2.5. 2. Ivanova's like, 1, 2, 3. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, no room for messing around there.
I got to tell you, Jeff, that's how Brent parents.
Yeah.
I don't mess around. Look, now my 1, 2s, and 3s may have a little bit of breath in between them, but it's yeah, and
steady.
Honestly, as long as I see you moving, I'm good. But if you're not doing what I'm telling you to do,
yeah, I feel like Ivanova's like, I am going to do something to you, and if you don't put it into overdrive, this isn't going to be fun for you. It's going to be awesome for me.
I loved that moment between her and Sinclair though. Like Sinclair gets in there and he just all of a sudden has that like, all right, I'm done. He's like, I want everyone out, and he turns around and just looks at Ivana and is like, take care of my light work, lady. And she just smiles. It's like she just cracked her knuckles. So with pleasure, Commander. Like she's a Chick-fil-A lady or something. I was like, you get it, girl. And man, she laid it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Every episode, I don't know. I mean, maybe like G'Kar, Londo, and Ivanova, about 100% of the time they're on screen, it's just like, this is my favorite part of the episode.
Can I tell you a part of the episode that then made me mad?
Okay.
Ivanova gets to 3. And then Garibaldi walks in the door and goes 2, 1. And I'm looking at him and I went, we're going to forget that last week ever happened with Garibaldi, aren't we? Because now he's back to Garibaldi from 2 episodes ago. He's the jokester. He's the whatever. I'm not saying he has to be sad and mad the whole time or whatever, but I was like, that's my fear. I know people say that they don't waste these storylines. This one needs to be one that I think gets explored a little bit more with Garibaldi in his deal.
I think it will be. It's funny that you say that because literally when he walked in, I'm like, oh, Brent's going to have thoughts on this.
Oh yeah. And that's my thoughts was crap, but it's Garibaldi. Like this is my favorite Garibaldi, by the way, like smart ass Garibaldi. Oh, I'm sorry. Smart butt Garibaldi. Like, he's my favorite Garibaldi. I like him a lot. And when he stepped in and went 2, 1, what'd I miss? It was
so great. But I think that Sinclair and Ivanova are like his safe place, right? And where he can do those things and be a little bit looser. But he can also be a little more real. Like I think that's where some of the stuff from last episode will show up, is in that little trio. But also he's like, yeah, we're cool. Like I'm cool. See, I'm joking again. It's all good.
Jeff, I got a question for you.
Okay.
And change topic on you all the way around. Which guest actor / character was the better actor? Liana Kemmer or Neoma Connolly?
Hey, Jeff, do you want to get slapped on the right side of the face or the left side of the face? Seriously.
I swear, when we first met Neoma, she slams her hand down on the thing and she says, what does she say? She says, don't try to blame my people. And she says it with a big smile on her face. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Like she was laughing when she did that.
I was like, I'm on TV right now.
I was like, no. Oh man.
She ruined, to me, like honestly, a lot ruined this for me. The writing, the episode, how things went itself. But Orinzento and Connolly ruined this. I couldn't buy them. Yeah. She said at the end that she's what did she say? I'm the duly elected representative for these people, which generally means that she is a worker. She's a dock worker. They hold regular elections for their chair, their stewards, their treasurers, all the things. So she's a dock worker? Really? No. And do not hear me saying that women can't be a dock worker. What I'm saying is the way this person was portrayed,
particular woman was not a dock worker.
No, not at all. She might have been an organizer or something for the union. Totally buy that, right? But don't feed me this line about being duly elected when you work for the union. Like, be who you are. But yeah, one, not a dock worker, and just, oh my God, I couldn't believe a single thing. Never took her seriously at all. And at first I almost wanted to think that she was trying to play both sides, or something like, oh, this, but then I'm like, no, she is just a terrible actor.
So Jeff, I have in my note here, I think we have established very well There was a lot of bad acting. Scripting was very poor. Stuff was just off. Some of this was really, really hard to believe. We also have to acknowledge this is early 90s television. We're 30 years down the line. I'd like to, having acknowledged that, I want to talk about the story overall and what actually happened. And the note that I had here is, Jeff, I want to know what your take is on the leadership of Sinclair and the senator and Conley in their three very different and distinct roles. As our resident leadership expert and guru.
I literally watched this episode and thought, I can do this as a bonus episode for my pod. Like, there's so much to dive into from a leadership perspective. But the reality, this did set up one reality really well. And that's, there's this thinking, this mindset when you talk about labor negotiations, that the people at the table actually have decision-making authority. And that's generally not the case. I've been on the management side for quite a few negotiations, and we basically have this table behind us of people that aren't bargaining, that are telling us, oh, here's your dollar amounts, here are your concessions you can make, here's this. And so we go and we bargain and we bring those things up. But we're not the people like signing the checks or holding the bag, but we're the ones that are face to face with the people that are trying to do it. That was Sinclair, right? He's got the Senate over here handing him an impossible decision and then telling him to deal with it. Just deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I think this whole episode could have been avoided because if he was taken seriously by Del Vientos and Connolly, because he walked in and he just said, look, I'm in an impossible situation. I only have this much money. The budget is this. I'm doing the best I can. These things need to happen. Let's go talk and figure. No, the times we've heard enough of that. Fast forward to the end where he's like, hey, we should talk because I could solve your problem here. So Sinclair shined through this whole thing. He wasn't, and what it was, so many people, so many leaders get tied up on right and wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, well, this is the contract, and so I'm right, and you have to do this, and you're wrong because you forget all that, right? There's this aspect of our toxic dominant culture in the workplace that we adhere blindly to the written word. If it's written down, I don't think, I just do. And that's what leads to so many of these labor disputes. Mm-hmm. Sinclair was willing to look past that. Mm-hmm. From the beginning of this episode. Del Vientos, emotionally charged. I think his motivation was understandable. His brother died, right? And totally should be coming from a place of like, this sucks, but also has to understand, I think it goes back to that question of justice versus vengeance. Do you, Del Vientos, actually want your people taken care of, or do you just want to see somebody hang? In my experience working in the public sector in a labor represented workplace, there are generally two types of people that work for the union or represent the union. And they're pro-labor, where they want the best for their people and they adhere to the contract and they advocate for the contract and want the best for everybody. And then you've got anti-management, where it doesn't matter what they're saying. If it's coming from management, it's BS, and we're going to dig our heels in and fight. Del Vientos was anti-management. Doesn't matter until the very end, inexplicably. Connolly tried, I think, but she did that thing, what do I call it, a demonstrative leadership, where, yeah, I'm going to go talk, and I'm going to do these things, and I'm going to be heard, and then goes in, and then he says, okay, so here's you don't know the problem. You can't talk about this. Well, we were looking at this. You weren't looking at anything. Just cuts him off and argues. And that's not how you lead. It's not how you negotiate. And especially if you're in that role and you're at the table and negotiating, just sit down and say, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. Instead of playing it up like, I got to put on a big show and demonstrate what a leader I am for you. Connolly was hot garbage. Del Vientos was understandable up until the point that he suddenly caved. But Sinclair, oh my God. If we could have a Sinclair at every single bargaining table across the world, labor relations would be smooth as silk.
I got to tell you, particularly towards the beginning of the episode, I was very much on the side of, actually, I think through even to the end of the episode, I was very much on the side of the dock workers, like all the way through. I understood the plight. even if it was a brand new plight that they tell us has been around for a long time and we've never heard word one about it, but that's okay. I'll let that go. When they first came to Sinclair, even, she's in there smiling about it. And he's like, look, we'll talk about it. Let's go to the Senate. Let's have all this stuff. I mean, that's what he should have been saying.
Yeah.
And he has a responsibility to act on the Senate's behalf, management's side. Like, he's got to come from that side. He did the good work of acknowledging their problems. Look, I understand you're having all of these issues. I'm doing the best I can. This is all I've got. But I also understand on the other side, like, at some point you go, people are dying.
Yeah.
Your best is not good enough anymore. And we need to make something happen. Well, let's get around our next round of negotiations in 6 months. And even with the bit of information we learned later in the episode where they said, oh, our last not investigator, negotiator.
Yeah.
The last negotiator promised us a pay raise and we haven't seen that pay raise either. And he's like, well, it's not written down.
Yep. That's
that's your thing, right?
Written word. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a people group that have talked. They have talked and they've gone in through good faith negotiations, and what they've agreed to has not come to fruition on the other side. And now they're done talking. And it just felt like Sinclair never got that. He never, like, maybe it's just because he's still new to the station. I mean, he's been there over a year now, so whatever. But like, it just felt like he was between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. And I think that's the challenge of leadership. People have this impression that it's like, oh, you're the station commander, just like wave your hand.
Tell them what to do. Yeah.
We saw that with Believers, right? Just tell them to let me operate on the kid. Like, just do it. And that's never the case. If he walked in at the beginning of the episode and did anything beyond talking about it, Senate would have his head. He'd be gone. And everyone would be worse off because of that. Like,
right.
They'd lose their advocate. He looked for that opportunity as soon as he got the Rush Act or the order based on the Rush Act and read through that. And he's like, there's my opening. There's where I can do something. He was looking for a solution the whole time, but his hands were tied. I think, though, for me, the difference between the corporate world, even then, back in the mid-90s, and partly now, not entirely, it's still like this in a lot of ways, but we still have that adherence to the written word. But in my opinion, the right thing to have done would have been to say, hey, you know what? Double shifts, triple shifts, they're over. You want 10 hours between stuff? You got 10 hours between stuff. What that means is we're going to back up people that are, in the freight lines or the cargo lines that are happening, but we'll still move things through. And then at some point, Senate, other governments are going to be like, you have to fix this. With the resources we have, we're doing the best that we can.
But Jeff, their experts tell them that they have all the money they need to be able to run the docks and run them efficiently.
So show them that they're wrong. Show them. And you don't show them. And here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to upset some people, I think. But you don't show them by stopping. At that point, you're not talking about the problem anymore. Now you are the problem. The minute you start your blue sickness or your illegal strike or whatever, the problem isn't the hours, the pay, the working conditions. The problem is you not going to work. And that's what the Senate came in to solve. Here's Zento, here's the Rush Act, you get back to work. When before with Sinclair, he was trying to talk about the issues. And that's how he solved it. Here are your issues. And now that I can reallocate funds, I'm going to do that to resolve your issues. I think that's the thing we lose sight of. And I lean on leaders to push this is get upset, get mad, but don't lose sight of the actual issues, because the minute you start causing problems, really, no one's going to be interested in solving the issues anymore. They're going to be interested in shutting you up. And that's what we ended up with in this episode. A very pathetic kind of riot that I don't know.
They got in one little scuffle.
Yeah.
And their mom got scared. And they'll send them to live with their auntie in Bel Air.
I want to go live.
Sorry.
But it's exactly what it was. I think,
yeah.
But I think, so the difference is if I were to rewrite this, if I were in Sinclair's shoes,
Yeah.
I would have started this by saying, cool, what can you do with what you have? Let's do that. I will take the heat from the Senate. I will take the heat from the Narn, the Centauri, from the non-affiliated worlds. And my refrain will always be, well, then fix these problems. Like these experts said this, not experts. When has an expert, tell me one of those experts that's ever worked on a dock? Because what I have is a whole team of professional, top of the line dock workers who are working their tails off. And they can only do this much. I think it's acknowledging I have X resources to do Y thing, and then just doing that instead of trying to like break people's backs and kill them to solve the problem. But we have centuries of that mindset. Well, we got to push this stuff through, so we'll kill people to make it happen. And that's fine because I'm still making money. That's what I would have done differently.
But see, like, here's the thing when you go back to it in this particular case, if the microchips hadn't failed, everything would have, I don't want to say been fine, but we wouldn't have had an episode. When Ivanova called down at the very beginning of the episode and dude's talking on that trucker headset that he had, which how could, and with as loud as it was down there, I don't know how he could hear out of that thing because those things are not great audio. Although maybe point in case of really shoddy equipment.
Yeah.
But she calls down and she goes, dude, can you do anything for me? And he kind of gives her a little bit of hard time. Oh, you're really busting my cojones down here, Ivanova, and whatever. But he tells her, he's like, fine, put them into docking bay 6 and we'll see what we can do. They were handling it. Now it was rough. It was tough, but she called down and asked and said, can you do it? You know how the Narn get, can you do it? And he turned around and said, yes, I can. He could have said in that moment, nope.
Yeah.
We're done. He could have said that.
Well, and here's
Ivanova wasn't twisting his arm. She wasn't putting pressure on him. She just called and said, can we do it? Yeah, I know. You know how these guys get though. Okay. Can we do it? Can't we?
Well, and I'll just say it. They're just as complicit in this because of that, right? They waited for microchips to fail and a person to die. And that's not a popular thing to say, right? But they, and maybe they've been making a stink about this. They kind of said they sort of were, whatever. But I think there's a tool I like to help teach people with and promote. It's called, we don't say no, right? Del Vientos he could have said no to Ivanova, but didn't feel they have a relationship. It seems like, they back and forth. He didn't want to say no. So what you say is, yes, yes, I can do that. If you can move this other line over here, or yes, if you give me this time here. You say yes, and then you identify the constraint, and then you work together to resolve that constraint. Instead, Del Vientos is like, yeah, sure. Oh, crud, everything went south, and now I want blood. You should have wanted blood all along, dude. Like, why did it have to get to this point?
So, is there much to talk about with Sinclair and his answer at the end? It's pretty straightforward, but I thought it was pretty brilliant on his part.
Yeah, it was so good. I actually have all of that in my closing thoughts. That's where I start looking at, because I think that his solution was brilliant. What I'll say here, though, in this part of our conversation, 1.3 million credits, it's a lot of money, and it's taken from the military budget. So
my question then be, in the next couple of episodes, are we going to catch fallout of what happens when there are 1.5 million down or 1.3 million down? And are we going to see what that is? Or is this 1.3 the bump that they got and they're just going to operate on last year's budget and they'll be fine?
Yeah. And that's the question, because I don't know what's included in the military budget, right? Is that station security? Because they could use the bump there for sure. But yeah, but I also, we see the Star Furies go out and chase after raiders and stuff. Like, that's clearly a military operation. And so yeah, what's the fault? If I know Babylon 5 from what we've been told, this is where the fallout, like, there's going to be the fallout from, you've made enemies out there. Like, that's going to be a thing. But I think there will also be fallout from, Yeah, you just cut your military budget, and you are a military facility.
I mean, look how much a throwaway line at the end of the pilot episode of President Luis was just reelected on whatever, and how that's actually turned in, like, this little thing that you picked up on a newscast has turned into what is apparently this big, huge thing. Yeah. All right, I've got one question, and then let's get to those final thoughts there, cool. Jeff. Where's Catherine?
Yeah.
Where's Catherine? When Sinclair comes home at the end of the day, he's had a rough day. He's all scruffy. He can't keep his thing tied anymore. His shirt's untucked, and no matter what he does, it's never going back in to where it's supposed to be. Where's Catherine? Did we lose her?
I'm going to guess that she's working. Like, she's out surveying worlds, doing her stuff. I mean, to me, it is. And I think there's even a comment to this to some effect, but she's Cassidy Yates, right? Cisco's girlfriend, later wife, who shows up a couple of times because she's off doing cargo runs.
That's fine, but we knew that Cassidy was off doing cargo runs. They haven't even mentioned Catherine.
Well, I mean, Sinclair's up for 2 days. He got 4 minutes of sleep.
I understand. No, but I'm talking over the last how many episodes?
It's been like
Jeff?
3 or 4. It's been a
while. It's been a while. Like, she went off to go do that thing with that one planet, and G'Kar saved her, and then nothing. Like, I just give me a mention. Give me something to say about Catherine.
Here's my benefit of the doubt, though. I think
Babylon
5 is in the process of building some complex characters.
Sure.
We both, I think, very legitimately complained early on about, like, I don't know my commander. I don't care about my security chief. Whereas now, like, oh my gosh, these are people I'm invested in their relationships. I care about their stuff. They're building this complexity to stuff. It's just so big. There's so many characters we haven't seen. When we saw Natoth for the first time in a while. Here we haven't seen Lanier and couple episodes now. I mean, there's just so many players.
We didn't see
Delenn. Veer. Yeah, Delenn's seen Delenn.
Yeah, we didn't see Veer at all.
Yeah. It's been a while.
This would have been a good episode for Veer with as much Londo as was in it. Like, been a good episode. But even still, like with Catherine, it was one of those that's been bugging me for the last couple of episodes of she's just disappeared. And I think what really gets me is she was really growing on me.
Yeah.
Like, I know it was just the 2 episodes. Like, the first episode was like, whatever. But the second episode I was like, I kind of like this girl. I want her to hang around, and she hasn't. All right, Jeff, let's get down to it. Let's boil it all down and see if the show has any of that Star Trek-y quality to it. Is there a deep moral message? Is it holding up a mirror to society? Is it giving us hope for a better future? We're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 deltas. Jeff, how many deltas did you give this one?
Well, before we get
and what do you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the other piece first, because this episode, like we've talked about it was not a good episode. The G'Kar and the Londo stuff is what saved it, but this is not an episode that I want to watch again, and it doesn't make me wish that I watched it or Babylon 5 any sooner. So there's that. But Star Trek, so everything, literally everything in this episode landed on Sinclair. He had to solve the G'Kar Londo stuff. The dock workers were looking to him to solve something. The Senate was looking to him to resolve stuff. And he was kind of, he was awesome in both of those things, almost inhumanly so. And I think they acknowledged that with the scruff, and how he hadn't slept in 2 days. But I think in this one, we got lawyer Sinclair in this episode. We got the one with G'Kar and Londo where first, like, he read the letter of the law, and he's like, that flower is drugs, and I can take drugs from you, and I can do whatever I want with it at that point. And then he got really creative with the sunshine and the light years and the whatever. Like, hey, G'Kar, it's cool. You can still do your little thing. It's fine because science. There you go. And then his resolution on the labor dispute, we were kind of talking about a little bit. Super creative. Awesome. And it adhered to the letter of the law. Like I was talking about before, that adherence to the written word is a problem. And I think Star Trek does a really good job showing us how you work around that. In fact, I think the prime directive which a lot of people decry and have problems with. I think the prime directive ultimately is there because it gives officers a hard and fast thing they have to work around to figure stuff. The prime directive says this. Yeah, but if we look at it this way and we do it like this, then we can do it. I think that Star Trek actively dismantles this adherence to the written, this blind adherence to the written word that's part of our toxic dominant culture. How many times do we see Kirk or Picard literally cite chapter and verse of another culture's laws to them to justify them doing the right thing? So I think because of literally the last couple of minutes of this episode, I'm giving this one 3 deltas. What about you?
Jeff, this is an episode that I could have seen on Enterprise. I could have seen on the original series. I don't think it would have been a good or a good TNG episode. Certainly not Voyager, maybe Deep Space Nine. But the way Sinclair came in and solved this issue, the way he did it, it felt so Kirk, maybe even felt a little Archerish to me. Like, I feel like I could have seen this. This wouldn't have been an episode of something that's happening on one of the ships. This would have been an episode that's happening on an alien planet. And they would have come down and kind of help solve it. Possibly could even be a Pike type thing. Although I'm going to stick more with actually Captain Kirk. This felt very Kirk to me, more so than anybody else. I think it's a super Star Trek message and a otherwise not great episode of you do what's right and you settle an issue without force. Maybe this is the most Picard thing. You settle it by talking. You have this one guy over here who wants to shoot, bust some heads. Actually, here's the way we're going to handle this. And we're going to, everybody's going to be happy except for this guy over here. Zinto wasn't happy just because heads didn't get busted. He wasn't happy because because things got settled. He wasn't happy because his task was done. He was not happy because he didn't get to bust heads. He had invoked the Rush Act, which hadn't been done in a century or however long they said it was, and it wound up fizzling and turning against him. It's like he came in looking for a reason to activate that. He said it walking through, if I have to use the Rush Act, make sure that my people are here ready to go. Like, he was begging for a reason. And Sinclair comes in and he solves it. And by the way, he turns around and does it to the B plot as well. And he fixes all of that. And yeah, it's a super Star Trek message. 3, we've said often, Jeff, that there are Star Trek episodes that are really good episodes that would not be a very Star Trek episode. They would get like 0 deltas, right? And some of the episodes that get like 5 deltas, 4 deltas are not great episodes. Let That Be Your Last Battlefield is not my favorite episode out there. But boy, oh boy, you talk about a super Star Trek message. That's one of them. This one feels like that to me. So I'm going to give this one, I'm going to say 4 deltas.
Wow.
I'm going to say 4 deltas. I'm not quite on to 5, but I'm going to say 4 deltas. I do feel like this episode is setting more stuff up than it is continuing lines. I noticed JMS wrote this episode this week versus some other people that we've had in the last couple of weeks. So I'm kind of in that spot where when I see his name, I'm figuring this is a plot heavy, overarching episode, linchpin piece. I figure. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Should I watch this one again? I have no desire to watch this one again. I would watch this on a rewatch only. Like, I wouldn't skip it, but I'm not watching it like, hey, I want to go watch a good episode of Babylon 5. Not this one. No.
Yeah, I might watch it again if like something massive pays off later, and then it's cool to go back and see the seed planted here.
There you go.
But that'd be the only thing that would bring me back. I want to justify our not 5 Delta piece on here because I think with one of the real weak points on this was that Sinclair almost killed himself to solve these problems. Like as a leader, you have to put boundaries up. You have to take care of yourself, and he did not do that. And that's a theme we've had with Sinclair since episode 1. So, I mean, that's the real negative I can give on this one outside of just the overall quality, we'll say, of the episode.
All right.
Well, that's it. That is By Any Means Necessary. Next week, we're going to be watching Signs and Portents for the first time. Now, we've never seen this before. We know nothing about it. We like to guess what it's going to be about. Based on the name alone, Brent, you copped out last week. You do not get a cop out this time. What do you think Signs and Portents is going to be?
I'll answer your question directly if you can answer one of mine first.
Okay.
What is a portent?
I don't know.
I can't even tell you because I don't know what the word means. A sign and a port. But didn't we say that this is like they're calling this entire season this title of Signs and Portents?
Yeah. According to Merriam-Webster, a portent is something that foreshadows a coming event.
Okay. And it's a sign and a portent. And I see one here that says something about a momentous occasion that heavily foreshadows something. So I'm going to say that this episode, this one is going to focus on the ambassadors. I don't think this is a Home Guard one. I don't think this is necessarily Psy-Corps. I don't think this is Earth related. I think this is something to do with the Minbari. The Centauri. Like I've been wondering, is the whole Centauri Narn thing somehow connected to the Earth Minbari War? Like, is there some sort of connection we haven't put together yet? And I wonder if there's like, that's where this is going to go, is we're going to see these main ambassadors. Something's going to happen that's going to foreshadow, I guess, where we're going in seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is going to be like the, what do you call that? The narrative hook.
Okay. Yeah.
Of the show. Like it'll be that kind of a deal. What actually happens? I'm going to go with somehow the Narn Centauri deal is also wrapped up in the Earth Minbari war conflict. And by the way, the Kosh, his people, what are they called?
The
Vorlons.
Yeah.
They're like masterminding the whole thing. Because I still think they're like above everybody. They're playing 3D chess while everybody's still out kind of playing checkers.
I'll tell you why I love that, because in Deathwalker, we found out that the whole Dilgar sweep of the non-affiliated worlds was tied with the Earth Minbari stuff. So we know there's threads in and out of everything. My guess, I think this is going to further the Sinclair Minbari stuff. I think we're going to get another insight into that, or maybe this is where Delenn knows that Sinclair knows that she knows that everyone knows, but now they all know on there.
Are we gonna get like we're gonna find out what the little triangle on the forehead thing means that we saw a couple episodes back?
That's the final episode of the series, and the last of it, they're like, this is the triangle. I don't know. That's gonna be the big mystery that comes up. I have no idea.
Right. Like, are we gonna find out like it's actually on her head and she keeps putting makeup over top of it or something like that?
Yeah, I got like put, and she's like, nope. I'm just normal
right.
Minbari here. Nothing to see here.
Right.
Well, we're going to find out next week right here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to us, and stop by Audible, stop by Apple, stop by anywhere that you can leave a rating and a review for us. If you leave us a rating and review on Podchaser or Apple Podcasts, that automatically gets tweeted out from our Twitter at Babylon First, and we will read your review right here on the air. Well, Brent, that was a terrible episode, and I'm pretty wiped. So do you say we get out of here?
Yeah, Jeff, you are looking a bit like week old bread, my friend.
What?
You can't say it to get us out of here.
Until next time,
Jeff,
let's leave.
Don't.
Just know, Brent, that you've made an enemy today. Such an enemy. Like, it's pretty rough stuff.
Jeff, I got to tell you, I desperately now want these to become like, okay, you and I are both two middle-aged dads.
Uh-huh.
I need these to become dad jokes, like the worst dad jokes. If I have to start writing these, I will. Like,
Right.
that's what just like it's got to relate to the show somehow, but it's got to turn into a dad joke.
I still love my to and fro and 2. I think that was pretty good. That was a good deep dive.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't say this to you earlier, and I'll say it here while we're wrapping up here on YouTube. Very much digging your shirt.
Thanks.
The old school Adam and Cringer. Oh my gosh.
Secret
powers. Fabulous. Oh yes. Yes, dude. He-Man was my jam.
Yeah.
Growing up. He was my deal.
Have you watched any of the new ones that
Yes.
have been out? Yeah.
Yes. My son has gotten into them a lot, and so he and I have watched them. I really liked the reboot that they did back in the late 90s, I want to say it was, and it only went for like 2 seasons or something like that, but it was really well done.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked that one. The new ones, both of them are kind of like, they've got a weird animation style that I don't personally like, and that's just my own preference. The stories have been a little weird. So I feel like they could do something more with it. In some ways, they're sticking too much to toy line verbiage when they actually could turn it into something that I think they need to turn it into.
Did you watch? Have you watched the new She-Ra and the Princesses of Power?
I have tried. I cannot do it.
Really?
Yeah, I've tried, but I can't do it.
Oh my gosh. A huge favorite in this household.
Is it?
Love that series. So good.
Yeah. It doesn't feel anything like She-Ra or He-Man or anything like that to me. Like, take these same characters, same people, give them different names, and it's the same show. Like, it doesn't feel like it's connected at all to me. The few episodes I've seen. Sure.
I'd say it's not. Like, it really goes in a whole different direction, and it gets so awesome.
Does it? Okay.
It really does.
To try it out.
Like, there's I'm trying to, without giving too much away, right? But like, Eternia is a part is a part of it, and there's potential for tie to the He-Man stuff, but the way like when you find out like what's going on in the universe in there, it's like, oh, this is it really upset me, honestly, that it ended. It's like, there's so much more story to tell. There's so much more out there.
Wow. I'll tell you, what I've really been into is the Voltron reboot.
Really?
On Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like in the way that Strange New Worlds went back and like kind of did what the original intent would have been if they had like story and budget and time and technology to be able to accomplish things. Like I think Strange New Worlds is what Gene Roddenberry had in his head when he first sat down and penned Star Trek.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Like when he was imagining it, that's what he saw. Given what he had to work with, this is what he made. Right. I feel like that's the same way, like with this Voltron thing, like what the original people maybe they were trying to sell toys back then. Let's face it.
But the story they wanted to tell and the way they wanted it to look. Like,
was this one. Now I've actually watched some of the old stuff lately and it holds up so well.
Really?
Yeah. The like 80s Voltron stuff holds up really, really well. But what they did with this, where they really dove into the mythos and the characters and adding in the few things they changed, it's fantastic.
I've watched a couple episodes. My daughter, it hasn't clicked for my daughter, so it makes it hard for me to watch on. But I'm hoping that as she is getting older, it'll click a little. That's part of like, this was for one of her birthdays. She wanted a He-Man themed birthday because she's all about the old school He-Man. And then when She-Ra came out, all about She-Ra. That's kind of how my a lot of my non-podcast related TV viewing goes is, hey, what's my kid watching? Because that's what I get to watch.
Right. I'm with you on that. Well, YouTube, here has been your little look into the personal lives of Brent and Jeff. Thank you guys for watching and joining us all the way through this episode. It's always interesting to me, Jeff, when we talk longer on an episode than the episode actually went, and the episode wasn't awesome.
Yeah, but there was
But it
something
had some stuff to dive into.
There were
Yeah.
important things, and in fact,
There was.
Here's my little pitch to anybody out there on my Starfleet Leadership Academy Patreon page. I do bonus episodes, and I'm 90% to doing this one as a bonus episode.
I think you should.
That. Yeah, there's so much
you
leadership stuff to dive into. So
I think you absolutely should. Do it. Starfleet Leadership Academy, guys, go check it out. It's a great show. I like it. I'm a fan myself. Jeff, we'll see you next week, bud.
We'll see you. Have a good one.
Bye.